helping you solve the retirement puzzle. Welcome to The Retirement Solution with John Hicks.
This Week in Trivia.
I just wanted to find a way.
I'm always so good at trivia.
I just wanted to find a way to work Velcro into the conversation.
Velcro. What? What are we working into the conversation?
Velcro. 1958. Velcro was trademarked this week.
Really?
Yep. Don't call it Velcro if you're selling hook and loop.
Did they do that?
Somebody will come after you.
Did they sell hook and loop?
It's hook and loop is what you usually buy. Like if you go try to find Velcro, like Velcro is its own thing. Everything else is hook and loop.
Well, or now, isn't it? They're all command strips.
Ooh, I do love me some good command strips.
See, that's essentially Velcro, right? Or hook and loop, or whatever it is.
No, the Velcro.
You know what it is?
The command strip thing is weird because it's not hook and loop. It's like two plastic things that kind of. It's very complicated. It's the whole thing.
The way that they keep things together is a whole new thing, John.
It's a whole
you
thing.
do not understand.
At Christmas in my house, trying to figure out how to keep all that stuff on the wall. That is a whole nother show, John. We do not have time to get into it today.
My bad. Are we going to get calls from the Velcro people after this today? The Velcro Pygmies. That actually was a band in Louisville back in the day.
The Velcro Pygmies?
They may not have been from Louisville. I remember seeing it back in the day when there was Jim Porter's Lounge and Phoenix Hill. There was a band that played there all the time called the Velcro Pygmies. They're probably listening today, guys.
High Energy Rock, Louisville.
Age.
I'm Googling right now. Velcro Pygmies.
Yeah.
Oh, look at these guys.
See? Are they like all accountants and engineers now? Probably.
Oh, they look like friends of yours, John.
That's what I'm talking about. There we go.
And I don't mean in the suited up kind of way.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Oh, it looks like yep. Well, we have many other shows to get to after this conversation wraps up because we have touched on many things.
All right. We started off with Velcro, and now I have no idea what nefarious route I've gone.
Same.
Obviously awry.
Well, let me get this ship back on course, sir.
There you go. Toot, toot, Captain.
We were talking earlier about folks that actually did come into your office recently, and they were saying about they work with this guy for many, many years, and they're concerned about everything we're seeing in the news and the markets, et cetera. All of this stay the course verbiage that so many folks are hearing about as the economy and the geopolitics in Ukraine continue to impact with all of these wild market swings, I think, to say the least.
Sure.
But for the folks that come to your office, for the folks that we talk to here on this radio program, late 50s, early 60s, thinking about their retirement as they get closer to it, they can't stomach all this.
Yeah.
And there was actually this article in Kiplinger talking about how to find safe harbors for your savings, I guess, in times like these. And that's what I wanted to ask you about. What does that mean, finding safe harbors? Yeah,
well, first thing, I want to kind of go back to and allude to the comment about, stay the course. Now, if you're in your 30s and 40s and early 50s, if you're not planning on retiring in the next 10 years, maybe you should stay the course. Now, the question is what course are you staying on? Do you have a strategy? Or did you just kind of pick some of those mutual funds out of a hat and fling them in the portfolio, right? Because there's a difference. And they will amount to a big difference later in time. Now, if you are thinking about retirement, and I've heard so many of you guys say it, it's like, hey, John, listen, I know they stay the course, but how do I stay the course if I'm down 12, 13, 14, 18?
Exactly.
The couple that came in last week had a great investment and it had been good for them for a very long time. They're down 29% year to date. And they're like, we have watched a lot of money evaporate. John, what do you think? And my whole point was saying, hey, listen, there is no such thing as a great investment if you're getting uncomfortable and you're going to pull the trigger and get rid of it at the wrong time.
Right.
There's no such thing as something that's great if you don't own it anymore, right?
Right.
So there are so many ways that we can understand what strategies we can use to stay the course. For instance, if you're already retired or you're just thinking about retirement, the one thing you're going to want to figure out is where are you going to get your income from? Okay? Right. Because when we're talking about getting an income, if you're going to get a pension income and you have your Social Security, Awesome. How much are those two amounts going to add up to? What is the difference that you need? So when you figure that out, that means there is a portion of your portfolio that you really want to generate income for you. And if it does that, yes, you can stay the course with your growth-based investments, okay? Mm-hmm. Because when a lot of people say, hey, you're good, just stay the course, I'm going to err on the side of conservatism here and say, right. But if you're 2 years away from retirement, and this couple happened to be, he just retired, and they're down 29% in the first fiscal year of his retirement, that tells me, because he's pulling money out now, that tells me that maybe, possibly, his advisor was not paying attention to the amount of risk inherent in that portfolio as you're pulling money out. Because if you're pulling out 6% a year, in this case, and you're down 30%, you're down 36%, that's kind of painful. So here's what you can hold on to. You can hold on to potentially things like preferred stocks. Now, they're a little bit often less aggressive than the market, but they're going to pay you often 4, 5, 6% on your money while you hold them, okay? So there's something that's going to produce an income you can feel confident in holding on to. Some people like closed-end funds. Now, some of these closed-end funds, and believe me, none of these things am I suggesting you go out there and buy. These are some things you can do some research on, or we can talk about them in the office if you want us to analyze your situation. But some of the closed-end funds, Heather, I've been looking at these things recently. They're paying out dividends that you can spend 8, 9, 10, 11%. Wow. So these are things that, yes, the market's going up and down. They're going up and down too, but that income that it's spinning off typically doesn't change a whole lot. So you can still spend that money as the market corrects and maybe comes back up. You don't have to get rid of it. Okay. So no, some closed-end funds, full disclosure, they use leverage. Now, this can be very scary. So that's why I'm saying, hey, use a professional to help you research this stuff. Make sure you're just call my staff, call my team, and ask them, hey, tell me about those things that John was talking about where I can stay the course and still make some money on it. Yeah, they'll let you know when we can come in and talk about it. So other things that you can use insured indexing accounts. Now, what's this? They're essentially accounts that we get a bank or an insurance company to guarantee against loss. So you can't lose anything, but often you can get index type performance. So an example of this would be like market-linked CDs. So they're certificates of deposit, which means that they're FDIC insured. So that's pretty safe. Yeah. But instead of them giving you a stinky 1.5% interest rate, they'll give you a portion of the upside of like the S&P index or something like that. So these can be very attractive for some people. Again, does it fit in your system? Does it fit in your structure? Do you want to use that for income? You can also use immediate annuities or structured notes. The point is if you know from these things the amount of safety that they can generate or the amount of income they can produce, then historically I would agree with the old adage of stay the course. The problem is when I talk to so many of you guys when you're calling in, you don't have any closed-end funds. You don't have any preferred stocks. You don't have that many income generating accounts so that means that you're pulling money from a losing account. From a mathematical standpoint, if you look the math in the face, what it says is, no, let your growth instruments grow. Your growth investments, let them grow. And your income investments, let them produce income for you. And your safe investments or your safe assets, your savings accounts and CDs, let those be perfectly safe. If you use that bucket approach, which is what our office uses, if you use that bucket approach, not only are you going to know where your income's come from, you're going to be able to sleep at night. And yeah, if there is some ups and downs, you're not pulling the trigger at the wrong time just because you're about to wet the bed. You're going to feel confident knowing that, hey, I feel pretty good about my income and my safety nets. So if the market's going to go up and down, I'm going to bet on the U.S. in the long run.
Have questions for John? Drop us an email at retirementsolutionradio.com.
J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Integrity Financial Planning Inc. is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through John Hicks, NPN number 2293473.